Alright, ZTV Maniacs, welcome to the new first video for 2026. I decided what I want to do is I want to start trying to put out roughly one video a week. It may be a review video of a new game. It may be a look at an old game. We never know. Might be a video with B when he comes over, but I want to try to start doing semi-regular stuff. But I may just play some random games. We never know. This week we're gonna do a video on one of my old favorite Genesis games, Fatal Labyrinth. Now, when I was putting out when I was setting up the ZTV archive, I did do a video on this game, but the tone of the video wasn't the greatest. So I decided I wanted to do a new tribute video for this game. I know the earlier ZT videos, the language was pretty strong. And I'm not gonna hide that fact. I'm not gonna say, oh well, ZTV got foul language, so I'm not gonna put it. We're not gonna do that. I mean, it is what it is. But I don't know. I just didn't. So we're gonna do a new video of it. This is one of my old favorite Genesis games. This was my introduction to what we would now call, what we now know as the roguelike genre. So we're going to play this game, and we're going to kind of explain the gameplay and the system as we go. So, as we mentioned, it is a roguelike. Every time you play it, it's different. Alright, so we picked up a cane. Now, canes are a one-use magical item. They have different effects. Every time... Okay, so I'm going to leave that slime alone. Alright, we picked up a lance. That's actually good. It's better than the crappy knife that we start off with. Now, there's three types of weapons in this game. Actually, there's more than three, but there's also bows. But for our okay, so we leveled up, that's good. Alright, now as you level up, you get more hit points, but it also increases the rate of your hit point recovery as you walk around. Alright, we got a short sword, that's not so great. The short sword and the lance have the same damage rating, but the spears... So, going back to what I was discussing, there's three types of main weapons that we'll concern ourselves with. Swords, spears, and axes. Spears are the weakest of the three, but they hit the most often. Axes are the strongest, but they don't hit as much. And swords are the middle ground of the two. You can also get bows, but I don't really use the bows very much. Basically, you equip the bow, and then you have to select it and use it every time. I generally don't use the bows very much. We got a hand axe. Now, I got a lance. So, okay, now scroll is another one-use magic item. Early on in the game, we're going to want to stockpile our... Well, we got a battle axe. Battle axe is probably the strongest... In terms of raw damage, it's probably the strongest weapon that we can get early on in the game. Now, I'm going to throw away some of my crappier weapons. We're probably going to use... Because the battle axe is probably going to kill most of the mobs that we encounter in one hit. Now, these magicians are crappy because they can put us to sleep. You'll notice that I kind of maneuver the monsters around so that they are positioned so that they can't surround us. You'll also notice that I left that one monster remaining, and that's because if I kill everybody on the floor and then I dilly-dally around in the level for too long, all the monsters will come back and they also get very strong, and that would be very bad. Alright, so we got out of level 1. You want to be very careful in the first 5 levels of the game, because if you die, you have to start all over. Every 5... Okay, so we leveled up. That's good. Every 5 levels is basically a checkpoint, so if you die, you continue from that point. So if I die in the first 5 levels, I have to start all over from the beginning of the game. Whereas if I get to level 5, I die, I'll continue from level 5. If I get to level 10 and I die, I can continue from level 10, and so on and so forth. And there's 30 floors, and then there's a final boss after floor 30. Food, we picked up food. That's important because if you run out of food, you'll start losing hit points until you die. You don't want to grab too much food though, because if you go over 80 food, you will start you'll slow down. It'll slow down your walk speed, and it'll also you'll also attack half as fast. That's very, very bad. You don't want that to happen. Gold! We found a money bag. That's got gold. That will give you a nicer grave if you die. And yes, that's all it does. Later on in the game, a lot of the treasure bags are actually monsters in disguise. So once we get past level 10, I'm not even going to bother... Okay, we picked up food. Later on in the game, I'm not even going to bother picking up money bags, because most of the time they're monsters and they're actually pretty strong. So there's not really much point in messing with them. Alright, now we're on level 3. We haven't picked up any armor yet, and that kind of makes me sad. Sometimes there's secret doors as well. Okay, so watch out for these ice-looking things. They have a ranged attack spell that's actually fairly strong. Grab the helmet. Now these snails are not very dangerous enemies, but... Alright, we leveled up. They are somewhat hard to hit. Okay, we got leather armor, that's good. Now, we do want to keep our eye out. I will pick up extra helmets, because there's not going to be anything better early on than the leather helmet, but we do want to try to... I do try to stockpile a couple of extra ones, because we may... between levels 10 and 15, there are special enemies that can melt your armor. Okay, we got a ring. Okay, we begin to feel... Okay, so you may not have noticed it, but my power level went up a few points. That's the power-up ring. That makes us a little bit strong. Rings are an item you can equip. They have different effects. Some of them are actually just, like... I'm gonna leave... I ate too much. See, it's kind of warns you that you're starting to accumulate too much food. I'm gonna leave one snail behind just so that I don't have to worry about the map resetting. Sometimes I like to leave one crappy monster behind just so that I don't accidentally reset the floor. Okay, we got a red ring. Let's see what that does. That's the lightning ring. Okay, so so there's a lightning ring, a flame ring, and a blizzard ring. And what they do is they're actually special rings that you can throw at enemies, and they do damage. There's actually one specific ring I try to look for. It's called the heal ring. It speeds up the rate at which you heal yourself by walking around. It's very useful. And once I get that, then I just try to fill my inventory up with damaging rings. And then I save them for the last boss. Okay, we got a shield. Okay, so that's pretty much the best armor that we're going to be able to get until level 6. I know this game very well. I've played through it countless times. My uncle and I used to play this game, the crap out of this game. I actually have a fact for this game that I've written that's up on GameFAQs. Okay, we can't carry any more canes at this time. So what I tried to do, okay, so we've got a whole wall full of gray canes and one pink cane. So I'm going to use the gray cane and see what it does. Okay, so that was a blitz. So that you saw that shot out magic. So that's a blizzard cane. So basically, that's gonna cast like an attack spell. That's moderately useful, but not particularly great. Got a short sword. Short sword is not particularly useful. I'm hoping for a long sword, which is much better. Now, another thing to be aware of in this game is that some monsters can follow you into the hallways, and some of them don't. Okay, pink ring. Okay, let's wear it and see what it does. Armor has been okay. So armor, that's what's called the armor strengthening ring. That increases our armor a little bit. It doesn't have a huge effect. It's kind of a 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Do you want to increase your strength rating by a few points or your armor rating by a few points? Kind of. It's neither. They're both fine until we get the. Either one of them are fine until we get the healing ring. All right, so now we're on level 5, and now, if we die, we'll continue from this point. Now, I sort of know at what point better equipment starts showing up, so I'm not going to pick up certain items at certain points because I'm not going to waste inventory space. Another thing you got to watch out for are pits. At random, you can stumble into a pit trap that'll drop you down to the previous floor. Okay, now these ninjas are kind of dangerous because they have a ranged attack and they can also follow you through the hallways. Okay, early on I'll pick up the gold just for giggles because, again, if I die, I want that better gravestone. Again, if all goes well, I probably will not die. But hey, if I die, then at least I'll have a nicer gravestone. You need at least 120 to qualify for a better gravestone. Otherwise, you basically just get a little dirt mound. That's no fitting tribute for a valiant knight such as ourselves. Here's some scrolls. Ring, brown ring. It began to feel much better. Okay, that's the blizzard ring. that's gonna that's a ring that we can throw at somebody to do damage. Again, I'll save a stock of those for the last guy. This is kind of a weird room. I feel like there should be a passageway one of these ways. Oh, there it is. Alright, we're safe to pick up that food. I ate too much, it's fine. Picked up an orange ring. Let's wear it. You begin to feel much better. That's the flame ring. Okay, that's fine. Let's just leave this guy behind. He's sitting in the corner, not really hurting anything. These ice bars can hurt you with their wizard spell. They're one of the more dangerous enemies early on. Alright. We're advancing to level 6. Okay. Now that oh god. Now that round gray thing in the center of the map is a robot. He's worth a pretty good amount of experience points, so we're gonna want to take him on eventually. The trick with him is he will not come after us until we attack him first. Or unless we step on a trap. There are trap squares that's like an alarm that will send all the rest of the monsters that'll send all the monsters in the level after us. Okay, we got a wood shield. Starting on level 6, also we can start picking up better pieces of armor. So we'll want to start looking for armor again. We can start picking up armor again because we can start getting some better stuff. I'm going to leave the food behind because we're at 60 food. Well, and now we better not. Once I'm at 60 or higher, I tend to leave the food alone. You can, food can give you 10, 20, or 30, and if I get a 30, then we'll spend the next 5 minutes just walking the food off. Alright, we got 120 gold. That'll qualify us for a slightly better grave. Alright, we got ring armor. That's good. Can't care. Okay, so we're going to use a scroll. What I tend to do is I use whatever scroll I have the most of. So we've got 3 grays and 3 reds. Okay. Items have appeared from the darkness. Okay, that's kind of... That's called a search scroll, and that basically just lets us... Well, again, exactly what you would expect. Let's see. Okay, so now... So what I want to do is I want to try to figure out what certain stuff does. Okay, so red scroll... Okay, red scroll is a chaos scroll. These are extremely valuable. You want to hoard the chaos? There's 2 extremely valuable items in this game. They are the Chaos Scroll and the Anti-Magic Game. You want to hoard these for the later levels. The Chaos Scroll will kind of just make, instead of the monsters chasing you, we'll make them just kind of wander around. As you see now, instead of coming after me, they're kind of just wandering around at random. And the anti-magic cane will nullify their magic spells. Like those magicians that did their sleep spell, and also like these stupid ice bars with their blizzard magic. It'll nullify stuff like that. I'm gonna leave this guy alone. So like, that blizzard spell is fairly damaging, and the sleep spell, if you know how to deal with it, is a minor threat. But later on, there are enemies that can confuse us, and there's other. Oh boy. And there's other. See, the robot would chase us if we didn't have him under chaos. So there's guys that can do other crappy crap to us. So being able to nullify that stuff is vital late in the game. So if you get Chaos Scrolls and Anti-Magic Canes, you want to hoard those for the end game. So we're going to try to take on... So we want to try to take down these robots. Because like I said, they're worth good amounts of points. We'll just leave the snails alone. I tried to kill most of the enemies on the floor, but I think there's I think there's like a cap to how much experience, like how high of a level you can get depending on what floor you're on. So again, I want to kill all the other enemies before I start dealing with the robots, because they're pretty strong. And because I knew I was full up on canes, I decided to just use one of them, because that clears up an inventory space, and we also took the robot down. Now I want to get my hit points back before I try to attack that other robot. Killer Fly is much more dangerous than the what I'm hoping for at this point is a longsword, because we're starting to get to the point where again, the battle axe is still strong, but it's not consistent. I wanted to try to identify this with this potion. So that orange potion that I just used is a healing potion. And it does what it says on the tin. It heals us. When you're identifying potions, you generally want to stand... when you're trying to... Okay, that's what I wanted. I was hoping for a longsword. The longsword doesn't do as much damage per hit as the battle axe, but it hits more often. So at this phase of the game, it's better to have that, because again, consistency is the key. Okay, we're gonna use a purple scroll. What do you want to appraise? Okay, I'm gonna appraise a potion. That's the blinder potion. Okay. You know what I'm gonna do with that blinder potion? I'm gonna throw it at this robot. There are more cursed potions than there are anything else. So there's cursed items in the game, like you'd expect. And if I use the blinder potion, it's gonna, well, like again, it does what it says on the tin. It's gonna blind us, and we're gonna stumble around in the dark for the next couple of minutes. some cursed items you can throw at an enemy and basically just put the voodoo hex on them. The worst, the most annoying cursed item is the, I forget what it's called off the top of my head, but it basically, okay, I'm just gonna leave that guy for last because he's in the room with the stairs. That way I can just kill everybody else and then do him. There's a potion that sucks away all your food, basically, and that's why I say when you're testing out potions to try to figure out what this crap does, you want to use the potion. You want to try testing out the potions when you're standing next to some food. That way, if you get the potion that sucks away all your food, you can recover from it and at least get, a little bit of food so that you're not screwed over. Because if all of a sudden you are out of food, you can lose the game pretty quickly at that point. Okay. This is bad positioning. Now see, a lot of the strategy of this game is positioning. You want to avoid getting surrounded by the monsters whenever possible. Because basically every time you move, everything around you also gets a turn. So then, like, everything around you also wants. Basically, everything I learned about roguelikes, I learned from playing this game. Nope, can't carry anymore. So now I gotta dump some armor. So basically, I'm just gonna dump all my leather armor. Again, I want to keep a couple of spare suits of armor because they're in the next in the middle levels, there are going to be these guys that can melt your armor, so I want to keep a few spares in case some of them get melted. But, yeah. I actually did a run of this game not too long ago. Oh, here's a couple of rings. Can't carry anymore. Alright. So at this point, I'm just gonna discard the armor ring, and I'm gonna pick up the yellow ring. Okay, let's see what that does. Okay, that's the heal ring. That's what I was looking for. So we're gonna get rid of the power-up ring. And once I get a ring that once I get the ring that or once I get one more ring that is a damage dealing ring, then I don't have to pick up rings for the rest of the game. Because I'll have a full inventory of damage dealing rings and the healing ring. I'll be good for the rest of the game. So like I said, the healing ring increases the rate at which you get healed by walking around. It's incredibly useful. You do have to re-equip it every so often. It kind of wears off. But again, it's extremely useful. There's another ring called the food ring that I think slows the rate of which your food gets consumed. Can't carry any more canes, okay. So we'll use one on this guy. Alright. Well, we got the pink cane that we don't know what it does, and we've got the black cane. We'll use the pink one. Okay, that the pink. So that one is that's the anti-magic cane. Again, so it's important. It's important to identify those. That's another ring that we'll want to hoard for the later rounds. Alright, I'm gonna pick up this food. I ate too much. I'm sorry. Fat guy, what can I say? Alright, let's get out of here. Moving on to level 9. That eyeball is not particularly threatening. 2 canes. He does have a ranged attack. Alright, we'll use this black cane to see what it does. Alright, it's a flame cane. Flame cane and blizzard cane. There's also a lightning cane. They all basically do the same type of stuff. Orange cane. Alright, we'll see what the orange cane does. Alright, that's called the kamikaze cane. It basically just kills whatever monster you use it on. Would have been nice to use it on a more dangerous monster than that, but again, we had no way of knowing what it did. Like I said, the game randomizes whatever. The items are randomized every time you play, so you don't know what this stuff's gonna do. These killer flies are really good at like dancing out of your way of getting attacked. They're really stupid and annoying like that. Like, if you come at them in a straight line, they'll dodge. So yeah, I kind of have to get them in a hallway so that you can just, like, do what I did. Ah, crap! Pit. Remember what I told you earlier about pits? Okay. Now, the one thing to note is that the pit will remain consistent. So the room is going to remain consistent. Just to kind of note. So when we find the room with the stairs in it back up to level 10, keep in mind that there's going to be a pit in the center of that room. The crappy thing is we missed out on 2 canes. See how he dances to get out of your way? You gotta lure him into a hallway and then get him. They're not extremely strong monsters, but they're annoying. If I go, like I said, if I try going into the center of the room, now these blue mages will put the hex on us to try to confuse us. That's dangerous because we could theoretically wander into the pit. In fact, I'd lay even odds that my guy will wander into the pit because he's an idiot. Alright. Do I have any more mystery potions? Alright, I'm gonna use this potion. You suddenly feel hungry. Okay. See that's what I was talking about. let's get healed up, and then we're getting out of this. We're getting out of this level. I don't want to walk into the pit again. Okay, so now we've made it to level 10, so this is a checkpoint. And we've identified a couple. So what I like to do on level 10, because level 10 is kind of a wacky level. I like to use a chaos scroll if I've got one, because this level is just a big open area. And if I've got any mystery items, I try to use them at this point. Your gear has been saved from rust. I don't know what that actually does. I don't think it does anything. Because I've used it and I've still had them melt my gear. Okay, chain armor is actually a little bit of an improvement. Alright, I'm not gonna waste my anti-magic chain. I'm gonna start looking for. I'm gonna start looking for better. So if you don't use a chaos scroll on this floor, you're basically gonna have to deal with a big. Okay, I'm not gonna use that ring. I'm gonna get rid of it because we've already got the blizzard, lightning, and flame ring and the heal ring identified, so I don't know what that ring does, and frankly I don't care. Now a couple of things to note. Once we get to level 10, we can start running into trapped swords and trapped money bags. So at this point, I stopped picking up money bags entirely because I don't care. I don't care what my grave looks like at this point because, again, if all goes well, I'm not gonna get killed. If I play properly, and I play my cards right, I will not get killed. Not to say I won't. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna guarantee I won't get killed, but again, there's always a chance something dumb happens. But again, what we really want are anti-magic keys. At this point, I don't bother with axes anymore. Oh, I did get chain armor. That's a little bit better than the ring armor by a couple of points. I'm going to throw away the leather armor. Okay, now there also are shuriken. Okay, so we've got a whole lineup of blizzard rings. Blizzard rings, lightning rings, flame rings. So I don't have to mess with rings for the rest of the game. Got an orange potion. Can get more canes than I know what to do with. Okay, but I went against my rule and I picked up some gold. I just wanted to potentially demonstrate. Okay, we got another crappy leather helmet. Okay, now these blue blobs, these things can actually multiply. Now that shuriken I picked up is actually a pretty useful weapon to throw at enemies. You can also equip it, but it doesn't really, it's not a very good weapon to equip. But if you throw them, they actually are pretty useful in certain situations. Everyone that you pick up is good for 3 throws. three shots before it goes away. Now, what I like to use them for, I'll show you actually. I'm gonna throw it at this sword. Oh God. It enabled me to determine that that sword was focused from a distance, without having to directly engage it. And you see, it almost killed me. That's why I like to say I'm not going to guarantee that I'm not going to get killed in this run. But I do want to start trying to get swords because we want to... We want to upgrade our weapon. The long sword's not going to cut it at this point. A green potion. I don't know what that does. Okay, now this yellow version of the ninja, we can steal our gold. This green version of the worm can melt our armor. That's the enemy I was referring to earlier. That's when I said there's an enemy that can melt our armor. This is the enemy that can melt our armor. See, this sword's not really cutting it, pun intended. Get my ass handed to me with this crappy sword. And I'm not gonna use the axe because the axe won't hit anything. Alright, well, we gotta level up, that's good. The short sword's even more useless. I don't want to engage these fire trees because they're pretty... Oh, they're when our armor. The insect. If I get a better weapon, then I'll take on the fire trees. Get some food. I ate too much. Sorry. I'm fat, like I said. What can I tell you? I'm hoping to find some swords that aren't trapped. Speaking of shinobis, there's a rare weapon you can get at these levels called the shinobi sword. It would be really tremendous if we can get it because it's powerful. It would easily carry us through the next 5 to 10 levels if we can get our hands on it. More likely we're going to get the cutlass sword, or the steel sword. Or we'll just find a bunch of stupid traps. If we can find a trident, that's good too. Orange scroll, alright, what's that do? I don't know what it does. I'm gonna use this stupid rust-proof scroll because I don't think it does anything. stupid ninja stole my money. Wait, before I'm gonna throw a shuriken at it. See if it's okay. So it's a legit. Oh, we got the Shinobi sword! Excellent. Say its name and it appears. It's like Joe Hendry. It's like the Joe Hendry of swords. All right, that's an excellent weapon. I didn't get it on my last run. Oh yeah, look at that thing. Whoop that thing. Now we're whooping ass. Although on my last run, so I got the Trident. The Trident is a pretty common weapon. The Trident is actually a good spear. The Trident can carry you through, like, probably at least level 15 to 20 if you don't get a good sword. But we got the good sword. The Shinobi sword is the best sword we're gonna get for probably the next 5 levels at least. Unfortunately, I gotta fight this bag. Can't carry anymore. Okay. I'm gonna use this. You've been teleported. Okay, well. Whoop-de-doo. I mean, that could theoretically be useful. Oh god! I don't know if there's any monsters left. That's the trap square I was telling you about. I think we killed everybody, so I'm just gonna get out of here. Oh great, we're right next to a couple of monsters. Now, unlike the previous snails that we fought, that red snail is legitimately dangerous because it's got a ranged attack. Can't carry anymore. Alright. I'm just gonna use that because it's useless. I only got crappy leather helmets left. Because all my good ones got melted. I'm gonna re-up my healing ring. Alright, I'm not gonna mess with any more swords until I get to level 15. Because I'm not gonna find anything better than the Shinobi sword at this point. Once I get to level 15 or 16, there's a chance for a rare sword called the Gladius. That would be an improvement over the Shinobi sword. Oh boy. Now these things are like the ice bars, but they can also put us to sleep. Once we get to level 15, also the insects stop appearing, so I don't have to worry about my armor getting melted anymore. Orange scroll. Can't carry any more shields. Okay. So we'll get rid of a couple crappy shields. Large shield. Pink potion. I don't know what that does. I don't know what either of those do. But they get a better shield. Level up, swordsman. Get a lot of scrolls. We'll use a search scroll. The nice thing about a search scroll is that, like, because, like, that sword actually appeared as a sword, I know that it's safe to pick up. We'll use this spread case, see what it does. Oh, we slowed it down. Okay, well, that's kind of cool. So, like, I know that that's a safe sword. I can't carry it anyway. Well, we'll throw away the lance. We'll throw away the short sword. And we'll throw away the long sword. And we got another crappy long sword. Okay, well, that's crappy. Alright. So I don't know if this sword is any good or not, and I'm not, because I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell from off screen if it was in the dark or not. There went all my gear. I mean, I could throw a shuriken at it to determine if it's viable or not, but I'm not gonna bother. For all I know, the rust-proof scroll, like, might have been, like... The rust-proof scroll, like, maybe it was, like, supposed to protect you from having your gear be, like, able to protect you from melting, but, like, it's bugged. I don't know. I'm probably the only one who cares, because I'm probably the only one who cares about this game. That I'm doing a video about it here in 2026. Oh, look at all these items. Red cane. Can't carry anymore. Is there anything left to identify? Nothing has happened. Ooh, an appraisal scroll. Let's appraise a potion. Green or pink? I'm gonna do pink. That's a slow potion. Okay, well that's good. And I'm not gonna pick up any food. We're okay. Alright, let's get out of here. Let's go. Okay, so level 15 is the checkpoint. Alright, these sorcerers are really annoying. Because they can put us under chaos. You're getting sleepy. See, if we die on 15, at least we stay on 15. At least we killed him. But the good news is, there are no more insects. So whatever our best gear is now, we can equip our best gear and we can throw away whatever our crappiest stuff is. nothing else in the game that can melt our armor. That's not good. So what that basically did is that just told every monster on the floor, hey! There's a hero here! Come kill him! Well, that's not good either. Yeah, I'm trying to preserve that no death run. Any more armor, oh boy. It might have been better to just get killed and reset the map. But my philosophy is as long as I've got a shot at well, so much for the no death run. But we're on 15, so we get to continue from that point, so that's okay. Sometimes you just get really bad. What's this boost called? Oh, it put us to sleep. Oh, that's okay. What's this brown scroll do? Nothing. That might have been. There's one. There's a scroll called the newspaper that literally does nothing. And there's a cane called the wooden cane that literally does nothing. So our hopes of a no death run have been dashed. But we died on floor 15, so again we didn't really lose a lot of progress. It's better to die on floor 15 than to die on like floor 19. your hit points back, then deal with these suckers. It would have been. It's better to deal. It's also better to die on floor 15 than to die on floor 14 when we hadn't gotten the after we got the Shinobi sword. Someone would have lost it. These necromancers really piss me off. Alright, scale armor, that's better armor than what we had. Isn't chain usually better than scale? Not in this game. Oh well, what do I know? Ugh. Alright, let's slow that guy down. Okay, now here's another trick where shuriken can be useful. Oh, well, I'm out of it. Theoretically, it would have been useful there because as long as I don't press the D-pad, I don't move, and I could have... I'm gonna get killed again, aren't I? Yep! Okay, you know what's getting me is that stupid trap square. I need to stay the hell away from that corner of that room that has that trap square, because that's what's killing me. Being surrounded by 4 of these things is... Good lord. Okay, yeah, this room here, this is the corner of this room. Wow, this game is gone to hell in a handbasket in a hurry. Everything was going really well up until this point. Okay, I didn't want to do this, but you know what? Anti-magic cane. Now take all your chaos spells and stuff and shove them up your own butts. Okay. Steel shield, excellent. Not only do we have a no-death run that's been averted, but the run has gone to like Disasterville. Alright, the cutlass sword is not as good as the shinobi sword. Alright, we don't know what a yellow cane does. I'll put it to sleep. We're just gonna leave him there. I don't remember if he can wake up. You know, I normally do not have that much trouble playing this game. Alright, Chaos Scroll! Anti-magic cane. The Gradius! Okay, that's an improvement over the shinobi sword, actually. It's a very rare weapon. Maybe that's my reward for dying 5 times on this floor. Okay, don't step on that tile. Okay, I'm not going to engage any more swords because I'm not going to do anything better. Not going to get anything better than the Gradius. You want some of this? You want some of this? Come here. Come here. Asshole. Alright, get me off of this floor. Alright. That was a nightmare. Can't carry anymore, alright. What did this one do again? I forgot. Oh, I may have put it to sleep. Those chasers are hitting really hard. Scale armor. Okay. Alright, we leveled up. More hit. Thank God we need more hit points. I'm getting killed. Potion. Another one of these asshole mages. You feel like dancing. I just did. Now I just gotta walk off this spell. It's a Babaloo. I got a bunch of funny potions that I don't know what any of them do. That makes me nervous. Oh, we've got a better helmet, that's good. You feel like dancing. We're dancing. At least we killed him. Large shield. Alright, at least we got... No! Not a pit that's gonna drop me back to level 15! No! Level 15 is hell! I don't want to be on level 15. At least I know where the trap is. Just get me the hell out of this level. I don't want to be on, I've not spent any more time on this level than I have to. Just get me the hell out of that floor. That floor has been nothing. Alright, I'm gonna do something that's against my better judgment. I'm gonna use a potion that I don't know. I don't, well, okay, actually, you know what? I'm gonna throw... there's a potion in the game called the Quicken Potion, and it's absolutely amazing. It doubles your speed and it doubles your attack rate. If you can get one and have it against the last boss, it's a godsend. Green potion. Uh-oh. You feel like dancing? Hope I don't dance to the pit. I don't think the pit's in this one. That's why if I'm gonna just randomly blindly test potions, I'd rather do it in a room where there's no monsters. A blue potion is the binder potion. Okay, well that's fine. Get rid of that. I'm scared because I don't remember where the pit is. What's the pink one? Which weapon do you want to strengthen? Oh, okay. We'll strengthen the Gradius. So that's the one that, like, it'll randomly level up. Alright, what's this one do? Nothing has happened. I think that was, like, the curse removal scroll. So, like, if you're under, I don't know. Because it did something, because there was a glow. So I don't know what it actually did. The Babaloo. Where's Ricky Ricardo to sing the Babaloo? Alright, I'm kind of scared to go after these armors. Chain armor. I'm staying away from the middle of the room because I don't want to walk in the pit. I don't want to drop back down to level 15 at this point. That would be traumatizing to me. Dark Helm. Now, I'm sure you can probably guess that the Dark Helm is in fact cursed. So we're just gonna get rid of that. These things are like the killer flies that we fought earlier, but they can steal your food. Can't carry any more. Alright, we got a couple of random potions that we don't know what they do. These things hit really, really hard. You can't carry any more canes. Alright, well I'm gonna use one on one of these suckers. I'm not gonna really be able to search this room until both of them are dead. Okay, so I'm gonna have to use one of these sketchy potions. Well, I could. Alright, I'm gonna use this yellow one. Nothing has happened. Curse removal. Oh, okay, well that's actually good. Okay, I'm gonna use the red. Well, no, I'm not gonna use the red one yet. Oh, that's actually nice to have, because... Oh boy, these things are annoying. These little Medusas are really, really annoying enemies. So these things can drain your max hit points, and they can also put you under a darkness curse. I hate these things. I'm glad we killed those too quickly. Alright, we're promoted. That's good. Okay, see, this is what happens if you eat too much. Now we're kind of fatting around. But we're only at 81, so it won't take us that long to... Okay, we found the door. Okay, so that gold is actually safe to pick up because it appeared in the darkness. This thing's gonna flit around like a flitty flip and be annoying, so I gotta engage it in a hallway so that it can't dive out of the way. Alright, well definitely don't pick up that food. If you get too much food, it can actually die from it if you go over 99. Steel shield. Do I have steel shield? No, steel shield's the best shield we can get at this point. Can't carry any more canes. Alright, gotta use one. I'm just gonna put one down. That's fine, whatever. Slow cane is actually kind of useful. If I run into a really dangerous enemy, I can slow it down and get double hits in on it. Alright, let's just get out of here. Floor 18! Oh god. Well, that's bad. Oh, there we go. I'm always wary about small rooms like this because there could be pits. Oh god, get out of this room. Get out of this room. Alright. You want to, again, you want to get it to engage them one at a time. Okay. Dead. Killed. Dead. Okay. Don't pick up any of this stuff. The swords could be booby-trapped. The food could kill us. And the spear is not going to be anything better than we already have. Good, one shot, you sucker. First half of the game, the first half of this run was very smooth. We did very well. The second half of it's been hell. When we had floor 15, it's just been a disaster. Can't carry any more canes, alright. You know the drill by now. Can't carry any more potions, alright. Throw away the blinder potion. We got a yellow potion. I'm hoping that Oh god. We gotta get out of this floor quick. See, like I said, if you kill all the monsters and then you screw around. And then you screw around too long, all the monsters come back. Alright, let's get out of here. What's the pink cane do again? Oh, anti-magic. Oh yeah, we want those. We haven't got enough of those for my liking. We haven't got enough chaos scrolls either for my liking. Cutlass sword. Man, that's crappy. Like I said, the fact that we got the Gradius is good. It's a very rare one. I almost just want to go up to 20, but... In fact, you know what? I will. Last thing I want to do is die on 19. Okay, so 20 again is a checkpoint. Can't carry any more shields. We'll get rid of these wood shields. They're crappy. So now you can tell the music's getting really... Oh, silver shield. Okay, that's the second best shield you can... Alright, did I just throw it? God damn it. Well, we'll get another one. That was like a reflex trigger of like Okay, well I got enough. I pressed A there because I wanted to check for secret passages and I picked up the bow. It doesn't really matter. Oh boy. At this point in the game, you might get a Sagittarius bow, which if I were to get one, it actually would be handy against the last boss. So you might actually see me pick up bows at this point. These are floor sharks. They're pretty mean. They hit pretty hard. We can be a little bit more daring here because we're at a checkpoint now. If we die, at least we'll start at this level. Unless somehow we hit a pit and drop back to 19. Now there are some rare weapons that can appear at this point. Okay, we're veterans. Can't carry any more canes. Oh, I ate too much food again. I gotta walk this off because I was a meatball. Sorry. Pick up a trident. Another thing too, so like you'll see me start picking up weapons again because there's some really good rare weapons that we might find if we're lucky. I don't know why I did that. Use a cane. There's two rare swords. There's two super rare swords. That you can get. There's the Mazamune and the Excalibur. The Excalibur is the strongest sword in the game. The Mazamune is the second strongest sword in the game. Both are super rare. Actually, on my last playthrough that I did, where I was just playing for retro achievements, when I got the Retroid Pocket 5, I was like, oh, I'm gonna play this game to get the retro achievements. I actually got 2 Excaliburs, which I've never done. I didn't even think that was possible. Because actually, like, if you're playing this for retro achievements, there's like every weapon that you can get has a retro achievement tied to it. Where like you have to get each weapon and then kill 25 monsters, kill X number of monsters using that weapon. So you know you're not going to necessarily get every retro achievement because you're not necessarily going to get every weapon. Oh boy, this is good. We'll use a cane. Use blue. Like I said, I'll try to pick up the bows in case I do get the Sagittarius bow. Like the Sagittarius bow is incredibly rare. But if I do pick one up, it's helpful against the last boss. If I don't get one, well, no big deal. And I absolutely want to save one Chaos Scroll and one Anti-Magic Cane for floor 30. The nice thing about there being a mimic on this floor, that trick money bag, is that I don't have to worry about the floor resetting because that thing counts as a monster. If I don't kill it, it won't reset the state. Now, unlike the fire trees that we fought earlier, these things are actually mobile. Oh god. In the last few levels there's hell sharks and they're really mean. I mean, anything with hell in the name, you know it's gonna be nasty. These things can put you under chaos. The Scarlet. We got some dodgy potions. Alright, well let's try the red potion. Okay, so the red potion is the quicken potion. Now we just gotta hope to hell that we find another one. Purple potion. We don't know what that does. Okay, purple potion is called a recover potion. And basically that also works like a healing potion. So this is the quicken potion. You'll notice that my feet are shuffling really fast. Basically this means that I'm twice as fast and I get to do double attacks. And it lasts for the rest of this floor, basically. We're gonna hope that we get another one. I mean, it's not like it's not like we're not gonna be able to kill the last guy if we don't get one. But to get out of that room, there's high probability of there being a pit in it. It's not like we're not gonna be able to kill the last guy if we don't get one, but it makes the fight much easier if we do happen to get one. It's not like it's not like the last fight is like super hard, but it can be annoying. And a lot of it's like based on luck, like what item, you know. Ooh, Platinum Shield. Okay, so the Platinum Shield is the best shield in the game. Once we get, so now that we've got that, we don't need to pick up any more shields for the rest of the game. There's also like an evil shield that's cursed, so. There's also there's a really good axe. There's a Romillion axe you can get that's like the best axe in the game, and there's a spear you can get called the Tiger Lance. That's like the best spear you can get. This isn't good. Oh, this isn't good. This is not good. I was gonna have to use a cane anyway, so. Alright, we're a master. I'm the master. One thing to note is that there's only going to be one hallway per side, so I'm not going to search the rest of this side to see if there's another hallway going up. Steel sword is crappy. Well, I'm gonna say I'll throw it at some other thing. Elf bow. Elf bow is the most common bow you're gonna get at this stage. Like I said, there is a very rare chance we can get a Sagittarius bow. We seem to be doing fairly good at finding some rare items. We did find the Shinobi sword and the Gradius. I didn't find either of those in my last run. Maybe we'll get really lucky and we'll find the Mazamune or the Excalibur. Or another Quicken potion. That's what I'm hoping for. Okay, we don't need another shield. Like I said, we got the Platinum shield. We're not going to get anything better than that. Okay, so purple is recover potion. As far as I can tell, that is the same as a healing potion. So I'm just going to use this. It doesn't actually affect it. Okay, so orange, that's a healing potion. Nothing wrong with a healing potion. I'm just gonna throw the steel sword. Again, my purpose of doing that is I'm gonna throw that at that thing so that I can determine from a distance if that is a trick. If that's a trick sword or not. Yeah, scroll, weapon power up scroll. I'm gonna save that weapon power up scroll in case I get I don't know if I have anything left to appraise. Oh, I do. I have the blue cane to appraise. Okay, so we're going to use the appraisal scroll on the blue. So the appraisal scroll lets me figure out what something actually will do. That's the lightning cane. Okay, that's fine. So that's just a damage dealing cane. It works like the blizzard cane and the flame cane. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw... Alright, let's get out of here. That's not good. That's even worse. At least I got rid of the thing that chaos was. Alright, this is bad. Look at all these suckers. These things also like to dodge you, so it's better to try to engage them in the hallway. I might as well pick up the axe. Maybe we'll get to a million axe. That's a heavy axe. Heavy axe is better than the battle axe, but again, I'm not going to use an axe at this stage in the game because I'm not going to hit anything, and it's not going to be that much. It's not going to be that much more damaging than the sword that we're using. Ow, ow, stop it, you're hurting me. Go away. Leave me alone. Those robots are pretty nasty. All the versions of the robots are pretty nasty. Oh boy. Okay, we got a scroll there. This thing can chaos me, so watch out for that. Alright, we're a hero. Yay! Pink scroll. Ooh, another weapon power-up scroll. Okay, I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna save those. You know, I think there's actually a glitch. Hold on. To get the most powerful weapon, use the weapon power-up scroll on any of the following. Blood Sword, Golden Axe, or Skull Lance. So if I get any of those cursed weapons, and I use the weapon power-up scroll on them, it'll actually turn it into a super weapon. There are some glitches in this game, actually. So if we find a blood sword, or the skull lance, I'm gonna try that trick out. But I think I got to do it before I actually equip the weapon. Alright, well, at least it's killed that thing. Alright, now there's a Super Ninja. It can also steal your crap. I don't know exactly what it steals. But it says, like, your load is lighter, and then I don't actually know what it steals. I think it steals some of your items. But I don't know. I've never actually been able to pinpoint what it steals from you. Otherwise, it's about as threatening as a normal ninja. It's a Sasuke. See, it stole something from me, but I don't really know what. Oh, it stole a scroll off of me. Because I had... Well, we don't know what this scroll does. The armor has been strengthened. Oh, okay. So it can randomly steal your other crap. What an asshole. I don't like that. And if it steals my other weapon scroll, then I can't do this trick. Won't that be a bummer? Can't carry any more canes. I got canes coming out. I'm getting so many canes that I don't know what to do with them all. But I'm not getting any of the good. I'm not getting any of the good canes, which kind of sucks. I only have 2 anti-magic canes. How do you miss a guy when he's asleep? We put him to sleep, for God's sake. Ate too much again. Sorry. Alright, let's get out of here. Because 25 is another checkpoint. Get out of here before the mobs come back. We out. Alright, 25 is a checkpoint. Again, be on the lookout for one of those uber rare weapons. Throw a shuriken at it. Nothing there. Again, we want to engage these guys one at a time because they're pretty dangerous. Again, I think I'm going to kill the monster before I engage the sword in case it's a trap, which it was. Hyper Helm is the best helmet in the game, so we definitely are glad we got that. We haven't really been finding much in the way of armor in this run, actually. He stole something off of me. Ooh, red. Is red quicken? It is! Alright! We're saving that for the last boss. That's what I was hoping I would get another one before the boss. There's always a chance that one of these ass wipes. Or a samurai. I don't know how a samurai is ranked above a hero, but whatever. I'm gonna leave that Mercury alone, just so that we don't have to worry about the room resetting. You can't move. Fortunately, I can still attack. I think it's still my rings. You know, I've got a quicken potion and a bandial fill of healing potion, so I'm not even gonna pick that up. I'm gonna start picking up rings again. Alright, level 26. Alright, once I get to 27, I can start using Chaos Scrolls. Because I'll have enough to use one on each floor. Hypnotize him and kill him. Man, every one of these things I've run into has been a trap. Another elf bow. That's not particularly bad nor good. Can't carry any more potions. That's fine, I don't care. Battle armor, okay, that's the strongest armor that's the best armor we can get. Okay, so we've got all the best gear now. So the only thing we really need to get now is like a better weapon. We can just leave those alone. They're probably... There's at least 66 and 2/3% chance that those are just... traps. Well, these things actually suck away your strength, so I'm just gonna ignore him. This room kind of goes around in a spiral. There's a few set patterns for rooms that you can... Silver shield. I don't even know why I picked that up. It's not like I needed it. We've got the best armor, shield, and helmet you can get. So. Alright, now that we're on this point, I'm going to start using my chaos scrolls up. Trident, advance, great. Now the nice thing is we've got them chaos, and we hope that we don't run into any pits. Evil bow. Oh, gee, I wonder if that's cursed. The chaos has been destroyed. They're basically evil eyeballs. Spooky, isn't it? Oh god. Oh god, don't overengage. I think I gotta re-equip my, I think I gotta re-up my healing ring. Yep. These are those hell sharks I was mentioning earlier. Weird die. Jesus. Hellfish. Sorry. Fish, shark, whatever. can't move. The Tronodai. Ooh. Man, every sword I found in this in these upper levels have been a trap. Lightning sword. Okay. Well, the lightning sword is slightly better than the Gradius. Oh, another quicken point. I'm just going to avoid the monsters because we'll get our level up. Well, no, I should probably fight them. We will get a free promotion when we clear the last level because it gives us whatever XP we would have gotten for destroying all the monsters in the last level. Okay, we're a lord. Alright, going up to 29. Okay, so now we're going to use our anti-magics and the chaos. These things can use some really crappy magic on you. I hate them. The Gogon. Gogon is like something you fight in violence fight, where if you hit it, it goes Gogoon! Oh god, it's a dragon. As you would expect, the dragon is pretty mean. Which is why it doesn't start showing up until the second to the last level. It can pursue you relentlessly, and it also burps fire at you. Fortunately, we have it under chaos, so I do not want to die at this point, so I'm going to use my healing potion. Alright, we're Lord Master. Lord Master is actually, that's the highest level you can achieve. Can't carry any more weapons. We got crappy heavy axe. So once you attain the Lord Master ranking, you really don't need to fight any more monsters, because you're not going to get any higher than this. So we're going to just avoid the rest of these suckers. And sadly, we did not get any better weapons. Well, actually, there's a couple more rooms. Skull Lance! Ooh, okay, so I'm gonna try this trick. We're gonna use the weapon power-up scroll on the Skull Lance. And now we're going to equip the Skull Lance. The weapon, part of the weapon is 1 point, okay? But it didn't curse us. That's the important thing to note. We're not cursed. Oh man, we killed him in 2 hits. We killed him in 2 hits. Oh. We killed him in 3 hits. Wow. This trick really works. I killed him in 1 hit. Wow. That's amazing. So if you can actually if you have one of the cursed weapons and you get a weapon power-up scroll and you use it on the cursed weapon, it removes the curse and turns it into a super weapon. Actually, I knew about that trick, but I've never actually tried it. Okay, wait. This is the last level, so very, very important. Anti-magic cane. Chaos scroll. This room is very dangerous, and that I know these things are cursed because there are no items here. So basically, this last level, you have to just get to the center. You don't have to fight anything here. You just have to get to the center of the room and get the magic herbity. Get the holy goblet. All right, we got the holy goblet. A blinding light issues forth from the holy goblet and covers the world with its brilliance. Monsters have been stamped out. You do get XP. Any XP that you would have gotten for these monsters, you would get. So you actually get your level up here for killing any of these guys. But we're already at maximum level, so it doesn't matter. Alright, so now we're gonna fight the last boss. We'll go up here. I'll tell you what interfere my plans. There's no escape for you, I shall tear you into pieces. Okay, so first thing to do, we're gonna use that quicken potion. Now, any rings that we've got, we're gonna throw those rings at him. Because that's gonna do some damage to him. Now the important thing is this guy has 2 annoying things he can do. Number 1, he can teleport us. And number 2, he can put us into chaos. Oh, he's already dead. So basically, everything that I all the setup and stuff that I just said, just forget it because he's dead. A voice from the goblet spoke. I don't know if that's because I had the super weapon or what, but never mind. Usually that fight's harder. Dragonia, the castle of darkness, has lost its power. Thank you, valiant knight, for casting out the darkness and bringing forth light. In the centuries to come, should Dragonia resurrect and pose a great threat to humanity, it is then that every living soul shall speak your name. The one brave warrior who has harnessed Dragonia, you must have, but by then this brave knight will be long dead. You must not forget that you will always be with the people along with the light you brought forth. Go, the villagers await your return. You picked up dragon armor. You can fly. A gentle breeze blows towards the village the night took off. And that's our great reward for finishing this quest, is that we get to be able to fly. How badass is that? And there we go. We're flying off into the sunset. So here's a couple other tricks I saw. If you pick up 2 short bows and then equip them one after the other, you get a 99 armor class without ever wearing armor. That's interesting. Thanks to large torrent. Thank you for your playing. See you again in the next adventure. And there you go. That was Fed Labyrinth. Like I said, it's one of my it's kind of a hidden gem in the Genesis library. It's one of my favorite Genesis games. I played it a lot as a youth back in the day. It was my introduction to, like I said, what we know as roguelikes, and it's what kind of got me into the genre back in the day. So I hope you've enjoyed this look through this game.